Let's focus a bit more on free SHS now, because per our checks, there have been concerns about feeding students in the high school. It's a major problem, Doc, and I don't know, but it appears that every time the issue is raised, it's almost treated as though the problem didn't exist. And in cases where there was some form of admission made, it was treated as a trite. Oh, we've distributed. Oh, we are sending money. Last year, you spoke about how much was owed in terms of feeding, and it was about some 340 million cedis. How much of that has been paid, and is that not the real problem? Is that not at the heart of the problem?
Last week, 290 million was released. 290 million is not chicken change. So I'm very grateful to the Minister of Finance for stepping up to make sure buffer stock gets the resources that it needs to pay suppliers. And you can check in with them and note that they are paying, beginning from today, they are paying vendors that they've owed sometime for a year or so, they are paying them. You see, the food crisis that happened, I was the first to admit that there were challenges. And the reason why the challenges came about was when the inflation rate went up. Most suppliers then, we can't do 60-day credit supplies anymore. So it became a situation where I'm willing to supply, but I can't wait for 60 days. So if you've done a cash flow plan based on 30 and 60 days, of course, you are caught off guard. And you could understand why they also were hesitant to supply. So we literally had to get to a situation where we were getting 2 weeks of supply, and it was going on in such a way that we will make sure that there was food in the schools when the other suppliers were saying, I can't wait longer. If you don't pay me cash, I'm not supplying. And I admitted that that was the crux of the problem. The reason why that crisis came about for buffer stock to go through what they were going through at the time was that they had a challenge with the whole supply chain management system. Buffer stock over the years have done well, but they confronted a major crisis, and how to deal with it in the short term became a major concern of theirs, and therefore it impacted us. As the Minister for Education, I'm not in charge of food supply. There's a government agency that have expertise in that field. But they work for me, not because they are under me, they are the Ministry of Agric. When there's a crisis, it hits me because when they do well, I benefit from the work that they are doing. So when this comes up, what I do is to do whatever I can to ensure that means of finance will support. And when the monies come, of course, they're able to pay the various suppliers. As I said, I'm very grateful to the Minister of Finance that within a week they were able to release 290 million. In December, they released 120 million. So arrears from 2021 is cleared. Arrears for 2022 literally almost cleared. With that, buffer stock has the muscle and to begin to do the good work that they've done for us over the years.